The roots of the Vietnam War go back to 1858 when France colonized Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia for resources such as rubber trees and rice. Years later, the Indo-Chinese Communist Party was created in 1930 by the three countries to overthrow the French. Yet they did not succeed. Things got complicated when World War II broke out, and Vietnam helped fight the Japanese for the Allies. This did not help them grant independence, but it led to the Battle of Dien Bien Phu in 1954, in which the Indo-Chinese Party fought for their freedom and land back from the French. This led to the Geneva Convention, where Vietnam split into two halves. North Vietnam was communist and was led by Ho Chi Minh and protected by the Viet Minh Army. South Vietnam was a republic and was led by Ngo Dien Diem and had the South Vietnamese Army. South Vietnam also housed the Viet Cong, who were communist supporters that helped the North but posed as farmers in the South. The fact that North Vietnam was a communist area was seen as a threat to America's containment policy. In fact, in 1958, since South Vietnam's leader was so unpopular, the CIA assassinated President Ngo Dien Diem along with his brother, in hopes of making a stronger South Vietnam. This did not work. Yet America's formal involvement began on August 4th, 1964, when North Vietnam fired torpedoes on the U.S. destroyer Maddox, which prompted America to get more involved in the war. President Lyndon Johnson used this event to further push more and more troops and support into South Vietnam to help fight against the communists. Johnson started Operation Rolling Thunder, an operation that included strategic bombings to discourage the communists in North and South Vietnam and to show America's power in the war. Initially, the operation worked well, but once they crossed deep in enemy lines, they realized that there would be many more difficulties. This operation resulted in failure and was canceled by Johnson at the end of his term. Then, in 1968, 70,000 Viet Minh soldiers marched into South Vietnam and started attacking cities and killing civilians. This battle was called the Tet Offensive. America suffered the loss of many troops, and the Tet Offensive was the turning point in America's involvement. In 1969, President Richard Nixon spoke about the pulling of American troops from Vietnam, a process called Vietnamization. Nixon started Operation Linebacker, meant to slowly remove our troops from South Vietnam, but also strengthen South Vietnam to defend themselves. By 1973, America pulled out all of their troops, ending their involvement in the Vietnam War. A peace treaty was later signed in Paris. Unfortunately, in 1975, South Vietnam fell to North Vietnam in the fall of Saigon after President Duong Van Minh surrendered to the Viet Minh Army, turning all of Vietnam into a communist country. Despite Vietnam falling into a communist country, America and Russia were falling into a competition to be the first to go into space.